The Hispanic factor is about creating a new narrative for business where it's about stimulating job creation, economic growth. It's about acknowledging that differences drive innovation. You see, we must recognize that in the end, this isn't just about Latinos and our advancement. It's about the role we play as leaders to help reinvent and advance our economy, to advance our global competitiveness. And as a Latino, that's how you should begin to view your space in the marketplace, is that you're actually part of rebuilding America. I've always said that in today's workplace and that of the future, each and every one of us are responsible for three things. We're responsible for influencing growth, innovation, and opportunity. Growth, innovation, and opportunity.
See, we must all embrace innovation through diversity more than ever before, through our people, by allowing them to have a freedom of expression, to help broaden one's observations, propel the entrepreneurial spirit, our passion, our generous purpose, our cultural promise.
So what can we do with our leadership as we continue to change the conversation? That's always the big question, is how do Hispanics start really influencing dialogue? Guess what? That behavior comes innately to you, because we're not afraid of crisis and change. In fact, we embrace it. See, this means that we must all continue to adopt this mindset to see and seize opportunities previously unseen. And that's what the 21st century leader does. And those are the requirements for us to maintain our strong competitive advantage in the marketplace. Because as a 21st century leader, we recognize that we must continue to see beyond the obvious. And especially when we think of new and emerging business platforms that are redefining the ways we engage with our customer in order to win and dominate new market trends. And that means as Hispanics, the first thing we need to start doing is being more inclusive with other communities. I mean, we're really good being with Nuestro Latino, no? But when we take us out of our comfort zone, we get a little bit different. Ladies and gentlemen, you see, our Latino perspective is ready to be unleashed for all the reasons that we discussed. And when we take that initiative and become courageous enough to do it every single day in how we think, act, and perform, you will begin to see that we see things that others won't, and we will do things that others will not, and we will keep pushing until prudence says quit. Thank you very much. Well, welcome and thank you for joining us this afternoon to the Leadership in the Age of Personalization live session. You could already see that our guest, Alma Iris-Acosta, is ready to have a discussion about how to live a life of abundance. But before we get started, I'd just like to remind everybody that whether you're joining us from YouTube or Facebook or LinkedIn, you all now have this good fortune of having this discussion with Alma. And on behalf of GLLG, I really am appreciative that we can all celebrate in unison the importance of our Hispanic heritage, the importance of our Hispanic identity, and why today, as we celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month, my question to you is, how will you influence abundance all around you? Because opportunities are everywhere, yet few have eyes to see them. And it's taken this long, and for a pandemic where people lost lives, a pandemic where people lost their sense of self, and is now in pursuit of reclaiming it. And what a better time now to really understand the role that our Hispanic identity plays in this age of personalization. In fact, I join you in welcoming you to our Age of Personalization Summit that'll take place on October 21st. And please take note of it, because ready, we're going to start by sharing in why the age of personalization is important with Alma Iris-Acosta right now. You see, you're looking at the chairwoman and CEO of MSSS, a human resources firm focusing on management, research, search, recruiting, training, and development. But Alma is also an entrepreneur, a designer, an entertainer, and a musician, hence her stage name, AMBAR. In fact, AMBAR will be releasing her new single on October 8th, titled Te Toco Perder. And you can learn more about AMBAR at her Instagram at AMBAR Musical. Oye, AMBAR, ¿qué tal?
Buenas tardes.
Oye, Alma, ¿qué tal? Oye, te veo tan linda. Look at how nice you look in your Hispanic heritage outfit that represents actually two sides of your identity. One, the chairman, and the other one, the entertainer. Oye, qué honor tenerte aquí con nosotros, and thank you so much. We really appreciate you being here, Alma.
Thank you so much, Glenn. It's my honor, and I'm a proud Latina. Yo soy una puertorriqueña muy orgullosa de ser puertorriqueña. Así es que gracias por invitarme en esta conversación que vamos a tener, y cómo los latinos estamos de alguna manera logrando que se conozca todo lo que hacemos. So I'm very proud of being a Latin. I'm very proud of being here. Thank you for honoring me with this invitation. And I'm excited. I'm excited to go with you through the age of personalization and try to share with you some of my things and the way I believe, the way I live my life, and I live my life on abundance. Living in love, sharing knowledge, and of course, caring for others.
Well, I've witnessed that firsthand with you, Alma, and you're clearly a gift, and you're a gift to our audience. And we want to just remind them that if they're joining us live on Zoom, to make sure that you get involved with this conversation, because the truth is, and I've always said this about these live sessions, it's as if you're on the wall observing a conversation between two people, but guess what? You actually get to get involved in the conversation. So I'll be asking people to submit their questions in the Q&A module, or if they're on YouTube or in Facebook, just let us know what you're thinking and feeling, and we'll make sure to get your thoughts involved in the dialogue. So, one thing that's certain about you, Alma, is that you live every moment as if it is the last one you'll ever live. And this is about a part about living a life of abundance. And, for you, you've had to overcome a lot of insecurities, envies, selfish actions, slander, and unfair competition. How does somebody overcome those things? And maybe there's a couple of stories that you can share about how you've done that yourself.
Well, in life, you always have people that love you. You always have people that admire you. you always have people that respect you. But when it comes that you start like being successful or getting your goals done, you can also have people that they don't know you and they dislike you without knowing you.
Hmm.
So, one of the things that I always thought of my life is that as much love that I give for myself is as much love that I want to give to others. And I don't really believe that if they envy me, I don't believe in competition. I believe in fair competition. I believe in helping others. I believe in adding value to others. So saying that, of course, have overcome with times all these kind of bad vibes. But when you balance bad vibes and you have positive vibes and good vibes, people can start seeing you differently. And when I tell you that I do believe that I live my life on abundance, it's because I really mean it. Because, an abundance doesn't mean you have to have a lot of materials things. You don't need that to be an abundance. The abundance comes from the inner side. The abundance comes from your soul. The abundance comes from who you really are. And one of the things that is a blessing for you as a human being and has been a blessing for me as a woman is respect myself, love myself, see myself in every moment, in every single thing, in every single opportunity, and in every single talent that God has blessed me with an abundance. And, as I said before, I do believe in love in many ways because love is respecting you. Love is talking to your audience today and trying to share them some kind of a model or the way you live your life. But also, when you love yourself, you love others. And that's part of my philosophy, that's part of my principles, trying to always help others, try to always uh, make them part of their goals, their success. One of my main goals as a woman is to empower women. And one of the things that I learned through life is that women patterns, maybe our parents, that they were a little bit of machistas, I don't know if you know the term machista, but machista is a very Latin term when your father is a little bit of selfish for not leaving the girls growing, developing themselves, etc. And sometimes, that those things help me grow, help me believe in me, help me try to convince in a certain time in my life to convince the man that I have loved most, my father, to teach him that because I was a girl, he couldn't be machista. He needed to give me the opportunity to achieve my goals. And that was like something that pushed me in my early years because I had a fight with my dad, but I have my friend and my mother that she used to be always there for me, trying to help me, believing in me to make my areas of opportunity a talent by growing them and achieving the talents and growing, getting with that two type of personalities. My dad as a machista and my mom as a goal getter and my mom as a, I don't know how you say that, a complice, like somebody that can really be, near you, helping you, accepting your ideas and trying to make them real. So I had these two models in my life that really make me believe that love, knowledge, and caring is important.
And you know what, I really want to take some time in just a moment to talk
Yeah.
about how your parents actually shaped both of these identities that you have, right? Not just the business side, but the entertainment side. But and by the way, I want to just remind our audience to submit their questions. I know that just these opening remarks must be making you think about your life, must be making you think about what matters to you, must be making you think about the people that you associate yourself with. So again, it's not just the questions that you have, but maybe just the perspectives that you want to share. You know, what are you thinking and feeling at this time? Because look, Alma, we both know that we're still getting through this horrific pandemic. And so at a time where you're delivering a message about abundance, there's just a lot of people surviving.
I know.
And so how can you help us if we looked at the first step of, you know, reclaiming the momentum that maybe we lost because of the pandemic, how do we first begin to honor human dignity? I think this is something that has been missed. Large institutions, this treadmill that we live in our life seems to do the opposite. It's more about suppressing our individuality rather than unleashing it. And so how would you help somebody recognize the importance of honoring their own human dignity in search of their own capacity?
Well, you know, there's a way that we need to honor our dignity is by being gratitude. The gratitude is part of being honoring that. You have to always celebrate your life. I think the pandemic gave us another point of view in life, a reality, a wake-up call, a where are you? What are you thinking? What have you done? And, you know, being a lockdown for many months in life, you should take advantage of get into you, talk to yourself, see yourself, and maybe analyze what you have done in life, good, bad, or perhaps you don't know. So, you know, one of the things that I will say going through a pandemic moment is it's a moment to value health, value family, and your extended family that are your friends, your colleagues, your employees, your collaborators, your suppliers, etc., etc., etc. So I think one of the things that we need to be blessed of is having health first, having a life, having a family, which has been there with you in pandemic moments and maybe before, and that's the only base. You know, the family is the base of everything. Your family, the love that you feel, the caring that you can give them is very, very extremely important, Glenn.
You know, Alma, I think we're all learning that what we all maybe didn't realize that we lost along the way in our lives is the fundamental values and foundational roots of why we even belong. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in a dear friend, a man of tremendous wisdom, un hombre de Puerto Rico, who is so proud of his culture. And his name is Rafi Rodriguez. And Rafi probably knew I was going to ask him to get on an open mic with us. Rafi, ¿qué tal, mi amigo? ¿Qué me cuentas? Share some wisdom and ask Alma a question. What do you think, my friend?
Well, can you hear me okay? Am I
Perfectly.
unmuted? Well, hola, Alma. Saludos desde
Hola.
Dayton, Ohio.
Un placer, Rafi. ¿Cómo estás?
Muy bien, muy bien. I don't know if you could see me, but at least I could see you. And one of the biggest challenges I had joining the military and moving to the States in my professional career is a typical comment that you may have these credentials, but you may have 2 strikes against you getting into the batting cage. And I say, I don't think so. Do you realize that the best ball players come from the Caribbean? But that's in a joking aside. But one of the things that kept sharing with my fellow Latinos moving up is every morning, take a can of Teflon and spray your body with Teflon. Don't let anything stick. It is actually your actions and your credentials and your behavior that's going to help you move forward in this great country, because the opportunities are for everybody. And I've always kept stressing the point, be involved, share your Hispanic heritage, but don't forget that this is America. You also want to learn about the American culture and integrate in a way that you learn what are the rules of the game. Don't stay in a clique. Be proud of your heritage, but also be part of the great American fabric that this great country is all about.
That's
And I
true. That's
also
true.
strive to, be good at your bilingual status, but master the Queen's English. This is something that when I've been on boards or with very senior, the equivalent to the C-suite in the military, the general officers, they're very peculiar about how you present yourself, not only your personal presence, but also how you articulate the Queen's English. So that's something that for me, all throughout my career, I had to always try to be the best as I could in mastering both languages. And another thing I keep telling, not keep telling, but keep sharing with my fellow Hispanics that are moving up the ladder is when anybody criticizes whether it's your accent or your capability, just remember that you can communicate with twice as many people in the career that you select, because you have not only the bicultural background, but the bilingual. So if we're doing business with Latin America, guess who I'm going to use this as an example. The Procters and Gambles of the world, whom are they going to pick? Those Hispanic professionals that understand the culture of the clients when they're trying to open business. Not only do they understand the culture, but also understand the language. And as you know, Glenn, I'm a fan of everything you have to you stand for. And I don't want to be too long-winded, but everything I hear from you, it's to me, it resonates with me very strongly, and also encourage me to continue to do what I'm doing in my community. Serving others is extremely important. Alma, I like the way you articulate that, because it's not only about your personal gain, but sharing not only your intellectual wealth, but your financial wealth with others, so that we could race together as a community. So I sincerely hope, Glenn, that this kind of captures how I feel about the topic. It's and one last thing I want to share with you. When people ask me, well, Rafi, you're from Puerto Rico, you're Hispanic, you're American, what are you? And I tell them in a funny way, well, I'm just as American as apple pie, Chevrolet, and a little salsa on this side, and get used to it.
That's great. That's great. I'm happy to hear that.
Alma, how do you want to react to what Rafi has shared? Thank you, Rafi.
I just love it. If you remember, I said I'm a proud Puerto Rican. So I'm very proud of being Puerto Rico, and I'm proud that Rafi is a nice Puerto Rican. He believes that he's an American as too we are. We are American as well, but our culture is so beautiful. Our island is so enchantment that we have to embrace that. So I embrace you from here, Rafi, okay? It was nice meeting you.
Muchas gracias. Es un placer. And Glenn, I'm a #1 fan. I'm behind you all the way.
Thank you.
Muchas gracias. Te mando un fuerte abrazo, ¿no? Rafi, gracias a ti, la familia. We encourage you to join the conversation, others that are listening. And, as we think about our Hispanic heritage for a moment, my father had a big influence on me, Alma, and you know that we've discussed this. And one of the things that I've been reflecting on during Hispanic Heritage Month this year is, what are the gifts that my parents gave me? And I'm not talking about monetary things, just what are the gifts that they've given me? And, I've realized that the gifts that they gave me were the understanding of people, the importance of valuing wisdom, that not to follow the status quo. And I'm so grateful, because it's really interesting when you think about our culture, Alma, and you've proven this throughout your career, is that, we're constantly navigating opportunities, not just for ourselves, but for other people.
That's right.
And yet we don't, a lot of people don't associate us that way. They think about us as family, food, and music. And you know what? There's a hell of a lot more to us than the stigmas that are placed on us. So tell us the story about your Hispanic identity and the influence that your parents had on you.
Well, I will say that I love my parents. I think I was very blessed to have this kind of two different models in my life, because I have my mother. My mother, she comes from a wealthy family, but her opportunities to be educated and to follow her dreams were limited. My dad was the other side of the coin, and he was like a guerrero. He used to be a businessman. He used to work a lot. He always took care of the family. But I think I already told you, he was a little bit of machista. So he thought, okay, my girls, mis hijas, they're gonna get married sometime. Somebody gonna take care of them, so they don't need to do this and that. And my mom was like our facilitator, because she used to help us like achieving all the things. Since I was a little girl, I used to like everything. I used to like sports. I used to like cooking. I used to like art. I used to like everything. I am karateka. I don't know if I do karate. I do a lot of sports. I used to be an athletic in the university. And I used to sing since I was 11 years, which I love my music. That I got from my father. My father is a Bohemian as well. So he was this kind of, I think if somebody tell me, do you look like your father or your mom? I will say, well, physically, I look like my mom, but I have so much things of my dad. And I have to say with so much proudness, because my dad was this kind of man that he used to be entertainer. He used to be like the most important person in the neighborhood. He used to do parties all the time. My house was always plenty of food, drinks, to the neighbors, to the friends, to this and there. And I got that from him. And my mom was a little bit more, she used not to be too social, but her spirituality and her caregiveness and her emotions and her, always she's laughing. My mom is always laughing. And she changed your mood. When you are under stress, when you are like, maybe like things are not going the way you want it to be, she's always saying, you're gonna get it, you're gonna do it. And she's always laughing. And my dad was, like in a certain time when I grew up, he was my model as a businessman. And, we kind of fight a lot. We used to fight a lot because he have a point of view different than mine, but his point of views and his ideas and the way he used to do business, etc., gave me like those balance. Okay, I want to be a successful businesswoman, but I also want to be what my mom is, because it's all about people. It's all about caring. It's all about love. So I balance, okay, I have to do money. I have to be a successful woman, a businesswoman, or a successful entertainer, singer, because money is important, because give you the key to keep on. But as much as you do money, please share the money with people that help you grow. So that has been my philosophy. My philosophy is I work hard. I work perhaps 12 hours more than normal people. And as much goals I can achieve, and in different ways, as much goals I want to share.
Yeah.
And, I don't believe that I am successful because I have this X or Y. I am successful because I have my good base, my values, my principles, which I don't negotiate with that. That's there, and it's going to be there today, has been yesterday, today, and tomorrow. I'm very stick to my values and principles. And the other thing is that I care of people. You know, I believe that I have a gorgeous team, an excellent team, which work with me hand to hand. And without them, I'm nothing.
Well,
And of course, God, you know, in my areas of how can you say, priorities, God is important for me.
of course.
The spirituality, that communication with God is like, it makes me feel a better person. I always talk to him in the nights and I ask him, God, is I was a good human being today? And if I cannot answer that, I have problems, you know? And then the other day, I start my day praying God to use me as a good instrument, to have good vibes, to bring good ideas, to have good actions to everyone. So that's the way I live in abundance, you know, like sharing those kind of principles, values from my dad, from my mom, from my life, from my experiences, from the good, from the things that are not that good. I never said bad because you know what? When I said bad, it doesn't, I don't mean it because everything that is, you don't see it as a good thing. I see it as something that is teaching me to be better. It's teaching me to learn that you have to work hard for the things that you believe.
You know, Alma, you just explained to us this last part of what we can do when we feel overwhelmed and exhausted. And look, personally, I've been exhausted for a long time. In fact, I feel like I've become almost immune to the exhaustion that I'm so exhausted. And I just want those of you who are in the audience, please submit your questions, your thoughts, even if you want to get on the open mic. This is a conversation for all of us because, look, let's face it, we recognize that it's another year for Hispanic Heritage Month. And sometimes we scratch our heads and wonder what's going to come of the celebration of this month. What's really going to change for our community? How is this allowing us to become more empowered from our own God-given tools, or how is this going to take us to meet people that we never thought that we can connect with? In fact, today, did you ever thought that you were going to be connecting live with Alma during your afternoon? I mean, so the point is, this is for you because we're all on this journey today. But I just wanted to remind everybody of this, that, you know, one of the things that the pandemic did for all of us is it made us reflect on our own lives, on our own priorities, on the things that really matter to us. And this is part of this age of personalization. And what do I mean by that is that we're all exhausted of being told what to do inside the box we're given. We're tired of this age of standardization that tries to squeeze every little ounce of who we are as individuals to comply and do things that maybe we don't necessarily believe in. And so as we celebrate this month, let's recognize that as much as we're here to celebrate, we're here to reclaim the identity that maybe we don't always feel is ours, because maybe sometimes we don't feel like we should even be who we are, rather than be what others think that we should be. So hopefully with that content in mind, I'd like to make sure that our audience jumps in right now, ask a question, tell us what's on your mind. So let me ask you this, Alma. You know, one might be listening, well, a lot of people are listening and watching, whether it's YouTube or Zoom or LinkedIn. But when someone may look at you, they may say, well, gosh, I didn't have that kind of upbringing, or my goodness, looks how beautiful she is. Look, I want to make sure that everybody knows that at first, when I met you, and by the way, I was on the island in Puerto Rico about 2 months ago.
I know you did a great, you was one of the best keynote speakers we have ever had in Puerto Rico.
Oh my gosh,
And
thank you.
and this is the truth. I
Thank
do
you.
believe, and this, you know, we've been trying to do this before. I've been like a little bit complicated, but I needed to take this time and share this time with you, just saying thank you, because you really impact my life with the age of personalization. I'm sure you impact the lives of many, many, many people that had the opportunity to see the human being that is Glenn. And you don't have to tell you, knowing you personally already, you live your life in abundance. You share your knowledge and you share your experiences. And, you know, sometimes you said sometimes you get overwhelmed, and I didn't answer that for you. You know, I think everybody comes to in a moment in life that they can be overwhelmed. So you have to take a break. When you feel overwhelmed, just take a break. See yourself. Talk to yourself. Talk to your soul. Because your soul is not gonna lie to you. Your soul is gonna tell you exactly what who you are. What do you want? What do you need? What makes you happy? Because you know, at the end of everything, you work hard, either you work or you don't work, or either you do what we pursue. Human beings pursue happiness. That's what we pursue. And there's many ways to be happy. So, you know, I think one of the things that people that are here with us, either on the Zoom or in our social media, is that one of the challenge, or maybe one of the bless that I'm gonna tell them is that they need to make a modification in the mindset. You have to change a little bit your mindset, modify the way you think, modify the way you live, modify the way you want to pursue your things in life. And as much as you know yourself, love yourself, talk to yourself, and you get the happiness, you're going to be able to share that happiness with everybody. You're going to be able to, everywhere you stay, everybody going to say, I love Glenn, or I love Amber, or Alma. Well, I sometimes I don't know who my name is. Well, I know I'm Alma, I know I'm Amber, but you know, it's between both of us that we do different roles. But you know, it's the same person, the same value. But sometimes, you know, people talk to me about, tell me about Amber. I get like blocked because Amber is the same as Alma. The only thing is the role that I'm you know, doing in the moment.
Alma, you know, this is what I was going to share with the group is that when I had a chance to meet you in person on the island, everything that she's sharing with you is so true. They see her as a human being. Her humility rings true. And it was interesting because in one of the papers there, and I just took a photocopy of it, was this article that she wrote about living a life of abundance, which really sparked why we're even having this conversation. And I come to realize just how much we feel that we have to give to others rather than what we need to give to ourselves. I mean, we constantly need to be nourishing ourselves, and part of our nourishment comes from our own culture. I find it interesting that oftentimes people of Hispanic backgrounds, Latinx communities, they feel that somebody else needs to define their purpose in existence, when the ways that we were raised were to pursue a life of abundance, to not fear, to be entrepreneurial, to work with a generous purpose, to respect the legacies that we've inherited within our families, and recognize that it's our responsibilities to continue those legacies forward, and to always anticipate obstacles before things get in the way, and then recognize that we were brought in this world to see the glass half full, not half empty.
That's right. That's right.
This is our mentality. But yet, why are there times that we feel that we can't be this way, Alma, when it's exactly how our DNA was designed to operate?
You know why? Let me tell you this. the selfishness. There's too many people that are too selfish. And if they get out of that dress of selfishness and that way of thinking, they will start to see all the best things in the world. And many of the things, I think Rafi asked a question to us about our obstacles. You know, you always get obstacles in life, but obstacles are things that comes to your life to prove you. In Spanish, you say probar tu raza. I don't know how you say in English, but I would say you have to prove the kind of person you are, your ancestry, you have to prove your race, you have to prove how strong can you be in complicated moments. Because you know, Glenn, knowing humans and me knowing humans, that humans sometimes they get depressed. And when you get depressed, things cannot move forward on your benefit. So one of the things that I always say to my friends, and as a composer, you know, as a composer in my other career as Amber, I hear a lot of situations with my girlfriends and sometimes with, you know, humans in general. And that gives me the clues, the ideas to write my songs.
Mm.
But one of the things that I could tell you without doubt is that if a person just get a little bit sad and start getting depressed, they need to make a wake-up call immediately and don't let that mood comes into their lives, because that will change them forever. And you know, being depressed doesn't help you to believe in abundance. You have to think out of the box. You have to think that abundance is not about how much money you have in the bank. And abundance is not about how many businesses, successful businesses you have, or how many followers you have, or how many people loves you. Abundance is how can you live your life that makes you happy, that makes you that you're doing the right thing, but again, enjoying it first and sharing it. You have to share that because you cannot be selfish. And that's, I will say that's the main problem. We are living in a life that 80% of the person that are near you are selfish. One of my big obstacles in life has been, as a woman, is because, well, many people say you're beautiful. I believe that that's only physical. The thing is that they don't take the chance to see after, you know, what somebody have. You are a very handsome man, Glenn. So you can have also envies, you know what I mean? So if somebody see you, oh, how beautiful she is, maybe she's like a Barbie, maybe she doesn't have a mind, da, 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 da. So people start judging you without knowing you. But once they give them the opportunity and they take out of their life that selfishness, they open windows because they start knowing a person that maybe looks good or maybe doesn't look as good. That's relative. But what is the most important? Because you are in the outside what you are in the inside. I could be the most beautiful woman in the world, but if my inside is poor, it's not beautiful, it's not in abundance, it's not happiness, it's not love, it's not caring, it's not giving, I'm a very poor person. So I prefer to be a very, very solid and abundance person that whatever you can look of me. Of course, one of the things that in my principles and in my philosophy of abundance is that you have to take care of yourself. Because if you look like you don't take care of yourself, and if you look sick, and if you don't get dressed nice, and if you don't feel like motivated, and you don't feel like, hey, qué bien me veo, qué bien estoy. So, ¿quién lo va a hacer for you? Who's going to do that for you?
Well, and this is why in the age of personalization, the only one who's accountable is you.
That's
And
right.
unfortunately, we've learned in standardization that we have to get permission from our institutions to be ourselves. Can you imagine that? Here we were born with all of these tremendous traits. In fact, we don't even belong in a box. We don't. I mean,
Me
look at
neither.
all-
We don't belong in
we
boxes.
don't belong in a box,
No.
but yet we have been designated to boxes that has really stifled our ability to grow. But whose decision was that? It was yours, ours, as individuals.
That's
And
right.
now we've reached a point where we have an opportunity to reclaim what it is that's going to provide us the opportunities to bring a sense of happiness and abundance back to our lives. Don't forget that when we're born, most of us are super happy.
That's right.
And
And
so-
we have
ahead.
nothing, Alma, like your comments about, let me see if I can see what he's saying.
Yeah, this is right. Alma, by the way, before you answer that, Alma, I like to get Eric Ortega ready for an open mic, team. If we can get Eric Ortega ready. Go ahead, Alma, please.
No. I was gonna, but I took it out because I was giving the
No,
opportunity.
it's okay. It says Alma.
Alma, like your comments about taking care of our brand inside and out. Yes, Rafi, that's very important, okay? And listen, one of the things that you have to do, you have to give you treats. You know, you have to give you treats. Don't be on a diet all the time. You know, take your time to grow internally and also grow intellectually. Go travel, enjoy life, start learning about other people, and you will see how many people have common ideas. No, it doesn't matter if you was born in Puerto Rico or in California or in Spain, you're whatever. There's people, because you know what gives you that? That human being doesn't have age, culture, race. That's the diversity. That's the blessing of diversity, of being
Exactly.
diverse. And the heart and the soul and the inner feelings are the most important. No
Alma,
matter where you are.
Alma, I'm just going to pause here for 2 seconds.
Yes.
I just want to make sure we took in what you just said. That was
Okay.
beautiful. That's beautiful. We have Eric Ortega that's going to share a little something. Eric, thanks for joining us.
Hi, Glenn. Long time no see. Alma, mucho gusto. Happy to be here.
Mucho gusto, Eric. Un placer.
So, Eric, tell us what's on your mind about Hispanic Heritage Month, and maybe you got a question here for Alma.
Yeah, Alma, I really appreciate your message. I think framing the idea of abundance to really be something that we can share outwardly with others, whether it's within our own community, Latino or Hispanic and Latino community, but even also just in the context of work in our businesses and organizations, but then also how you framed it to be something that you look at inwards and internally to make sure you are taking care of yourself to be your best authentic self always. Very beautiful and very glad I heard that message today. I needed to hear that. But I was just, as I'm hearing all of this, my mind is turning and I'm thinking, how can we then take this idea of abundance as a mindset to apply to workplace cultures? With the focus on workplace cultures over the past year being so centered on authenticity, inclusion, diversity, equity, I think a lot of times it's a little overwhelming for people. They seem like really big things to tackle and overcome and achieve together. But I think the idea of abundance is something that's so approachable. And I think that in itself could be a way to help people understand that inclusion and respect in a way is for yourself. It's about living this life of abundance you're talking about, but also sharing that with others so that you're respecting other people, celebrating who they are, helping each other, supporting each other, caring, loving each other for who you are authentically, so you can work together as one team for one common goal. And so thank you for that. I just think that's really beautiful. a beautiful message you shared today that I know I'll take back with me with my team.
That's great, Eric. And I don't know you, but if you're a leader, one of the ways that you can share the abundance is share all the knowledge you can with them. Because as much knowledge you can share with them, dedicated time, be committed with them. Doesn't matter if they are, it doesn't matter what type of level or classification employees they are. They want to see their leaders near them, work with them in the more simple or the more complicated task. So just share your knowledge, share your time, quality of love. And I use a lot of love. You know, when I talk about love, I doesn't mean a love between a woman and a man. I mean love in general, because one of the ways of sharing love and demonstrating love is if somebody has a situation, you just listen to them. If they need your help, just help them. If they just need your counsel, be there for them. Because communications, caring, and giving is abundance. So that's my message for your team.
I love it. Me encanta. Thank you again, Alma. Mucho gusto.
Un placer, Eric.
Thank you so much, Eric.
Thank you, Glenn.
Oh, you bet, you bet. Listen, I'd really like to open this up as we're ready to close. Please share your thoughts. You know, notice that, you know, and again, I just want to give you some perspective. Abundance is not caring what anybody thinks about how you're feeling, because that's what you're feeling and you own that. So you can say whatever you want during this session. This session's about you. But notice I've had to bring people in. You see, I'm trying to help create an environment of abundance right now, when the reality is that you had the opportunity to create that for all of us, each and every one of you. So I just share that because to what Eric and Alma were alluding to is we don't have to wait for something that lies deep within us. Where we become afraid is the courage to let that out, thinking that there'll be judgment on the other end. What is there to judge about someone and what they're thinking and feeling? Because look, haven't we all learned by now that, you know, we all have problems?
Yes.
All of us do.
Well, you know, let me stop there 1 second.
Sure.
Problems are not problems, because
They're
if you have a problem,
opportunities.
if you have a problem and you don't have a solution, it's not a problem at all. You have situations in life.
That's right.
Everybody has situations. It's the way can you deal with those situations. You know, if you have a lot of abundance, and if you take risks in life, and if you are a challenging person, and if you work hard, y eres, in Spanish you say, tú eres un guerrero.
Yes.
You don't need to feel bad. You don't need to feel like, how can I deal with this situation? So one of the things that I want to teach you, my love, today is forget about problems. Problem is only numbers. Only numbers.
You're right, Alma. And you know what's interesting? Oh, it looks like we've got another one. This is from Angel. There are no problems. There are areas of opportunities. And what's really interesting about this, first of all, I completely agree. And where I was going with what I was saying earlier is we all have problems, but what we have more of that we neglect are the gifts that we have to offer. We all have them. Especially when you realize all the love that you have around you. Those are all gifts. So I share this because what standardization does a really good job of is make sure that we're all solving problems every day. But to both Alma and Angel's point, no, we're there to actually either create opportunities or close opportunity gaps. It's a glass half full versus a glass half empty mentality. Well, look, we're going to wrap this up and we're going to give you a little special treat. And I don't even know if Alma knows we're going to do this, but we're actually going to show a little teaser of Alma's new single that's coming out on October 8th. called Te Toco Perder.
Mira, te tocó perder.
Perdón, te tocó perder.
Te
Mira,
tocó perder.
oye,
But that's not for you, and that's not for our audience. Our audience is, they are winners, not te tocó perder, okay?
yeah, no. And look at how I even put the accent in the wrong place. We all do things that aren't perfect. And
Okay.
that's the beauty about personalization, because it's not about perfection. It's about a reintroduction of who you are as an individual and an appreciation of all the gifts and or flaws we may have, because guess what? They both can contribute in very positive, in abundant ways. Alma, before we show the teaser video, leave us with something that will inspire us more than you've already done for us.
Thank you so much. Again, I want to say thank you, Glenn, to all your team that has been so nice with me. When I want to start living my age of personalization. So I'm personalized all the things of my life, and I'm caring more and more and more for myself and for others. So again, it's about love, it's about sharing, it's about taking risks, have very, very extremely positive energy, and try to see things beautiful. Even though those days that the sun doesn't come out, try to visualize the sun. Visualize yourself as a very successful person from the inside to the outside, and a world of opportunities will arrive to you.
That's so beautiful. Oye, te mando un fuerte abrazo, Alma. Muchas gracias por todo, ¿ok?
Esto para todos. Un
Besitos.
placer. Vamos a ver la sorpresa que me tienes.
Okay, let's roll it, Paulo. There is the teaser.
Hey, that's a teaser. Yes.
October 8th. In
8th.
fact, Rafi wants to know where he can buy your records. Where can he
Well,
buy it?
I am in all platforms. In all platforms. You can buy it anywhere. iTunes, Spotify, Amazon, wherever you are, Apple Music, everywhere. So it's going to be the 8th. This is going to be the urban version, but I'm launching also a salsa version.
Very nice.
I'm a tropical urban singer, and I've been recognized as one of the most important tropical singer in recently years. And I'm gonna do a salsa. I've never done salsa. I always do like merengue urbano, tropical, fusion. But now I'm doing a salsa for Puerto Rico. So that's gonna be a new version that's gonna be released, I will say, the 22nd of October. So I'm gonna be releasing both the urban version on the 8th and the salsa version on the 22nd.
Perfect. I think Rafi's gonna get both. Good job.
Oh yeah,
Rafi.
please do, everybody.
All right,
Thank you
guys.
so much. Okay.
Thank you so
It was my
much. Okay.
pleasure.
Saludos.
Besitos para todos.
Happy Hispanic Heritage Month, everyone.
Thank you.
We love you. Talk to you
Love
later.
you
Besitos,
too.
Alma. Hasta luego.
Take care.
You too.
Bye to everybody.
Bye-bye.